economy. But it turns out that polar bears are not dying. They're not endangered. In fact, over the past 50 years, the population of polar bears seems to have quadrupled. Overpopulation is now the problem. Susan Crockford knows a lot about this subject. She's author of the new book, The Polar Bear Catastrophe That Never Happened, and she joins us tonight. Susan, thanks very much for coming on.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
So this is news, I think, to most of us who imagine that we're down to our last couple of dozen polar bears. There are more polar bears than there were?
Absolutely. And one of the things that's happened is that back in 2007, we were told that polar bears were acutely sensitive to the effects of global warming. And as it turned out, the bears are much more flexible and resourceful than they were given credit for. One of the reasons that we know this is that it turned out in 2007, the sea ice declined to levels that were not predicted to happen until 2050.
Right.
And they've stayed down at that level for the last 50 or so, or 10 years or so. And so rather than 2/3 of the world's polar bears disappearing in that time, as we were promised would happen, in fact, polar bear numbers have increased.
So you are a zoologist, you know a lot about polar bears. But you've been attacked by many in the climate establishment as a denier, as a subversive person whose voice shouldn't be heard. This seems like a fairly straightforward question. They told us the polar bears were going extinct. You're certain they're not. Why is this controversial?
Well, the original proclamation of polar bears becoming extinct or being threatened with extinction back in 2007 was that polar bears were raised and used as an icon for global warming.
Right.
And it became an important talisman for the whole movement.
Right.
And that whole level of argument is being protected. And one of the reasons that I'm being attacked is that I'm using the data, the scientific information that these biologists have collected themselves. I'm using that against them. And all of this information is in the scientific literature.
Right, so these are people who claim that they are standing in defense of science. You're marshaling science, and they're attacking you. Does that confuse you?
Absolutely. Well, yes, it does confuse me, but I think it's why I can stand on solid ground. That the information that I'm using to support my statements are in the scientific literature that they wrote.
It's a remarkable story. And by the way, as I end, I just want to say thank God. Polar bears are noble and beautiful animals. I'm glad they're not going extinct. You'd think people would be happy about this, no?
You would think that they would be happy, but it turns out that, you know, the whole idea that you could blame these polar bear decline on global warming probably saved the careers of a lot of polar bear specialists. And so it's in their best interest to make sure that this concept stays in the public limelight.
Even though it's a lie. By the way, they don't care about polar bears.
Even though it's a lie, yes.
And you clearly do.
Yeah.
Susan, thank you very much for joining us tonight and for your bravery. I know you've taken a lot of crap for this, and good for you.
Thank you.